Hey everybody, Pat Cleary from NAPEO back again. I got my new NAPEO merch on. In truth, I'm running out. I might have to wear a hat in the next one. We'll have to see how that goes. So welcome to our newest edition of NAPEO News Studio. And here's what we're going to cover today. First, we're going to talk about what's going on in the States where there's a whole lot of activity. Second of all, we'll update you on our cyber committee and their good work. And last but not least, we'll run down the events that are coming up this year in 2023. On the states, there's a lot going on as usual. So here are the highlights in terms of the states that are active right now. So in Kentucky, as most of you know, the Model Act passed last year about mid-year. But the regulators in Kentucky didn't really put any regulatory framework in place. They notified us in December that they would come out with some guidance by the end of December that would take effect on January 10th of this year. So that obviously was an untenable situation. And so our team went to work in Kentucky. Remarkably, they had a bill introduced on the first day of session in Kentucky, and it was signed by the governor 4 days later. That bill will delay implementation by a year and give us that year to work with the Labor Department down there to cooperate with them and get these regulations done in a sensible and timely way. Thanks to Kristen Baldwin, who was point on that, and working with Charlie Vance, our man in Kentucky, and Melissa Kelly from ADP Total Source and a bunch of others to get that one across the finish line. We appreciate it. In Massachusetts, a PEO-friendly bill was introduced there that would codify the ability of PEOs to sponsor welfare benefit plans in the Commonwealth. That's a great step forward up there. Again, thanks to Bob Burbage, who has been on point for us in Massachusetts for a long time, and to our great benefit. In New Mexico, I think also a lot of you know last year there was a rule put forward by the Insurance Commission that would designate a PEO that provides health coverage as a MIWA. Obviously, that's a problem in New Mexico and for what it might portend for other states. And so we have been working there with the insurance department, and we will continue to do that this year. But in the event that that doesn't work, we have retained a lobbyist out there, and we will work on a legislative solution out there as well to correct that initial ruling from the insurance department. In Oregon, they passed paid medical leave at the end of last year. And the bug out there is that the reporting software that they have would treat PEO clients as large employers. So Emily Marsh from our team and Ann Donovan, who is our Leadership Council chair there, is working with the state labor department to correct that and to see if they can't get their technology more aligned with the realities and practicalities of the PEO industry as it exists today. And finally, in South Carolina, a bill's been introduced that would allow PEO clients to obtain tax credits offered to small businesses that create job opportunities in the state. That's a great step forward in South Carolina, and we applaud our leaders down there as well in trying to get that done. As you all know, California remains the jewel in the crown. This month we have begun work in earnest to develop language for our bill and develop our strategy to try to get some version of the Model Act in California, finally. So we'll keep you posted and stay tuned on that front. And next, let me turn to cyber. You know, it's funny, just in the last couple of years, that issue has just exploded in terms of importance to all of you and to this industry. So a year ago, our board formed a cyber committee with Alex Campos of Venture as the chair, and they've been hard at work. They meet every month. They have been staying on task. They have overseen the creation of our website, napeo.org/cyber, with some great resources, which has been very frequently visited by many of you. And the committee continues to do its work. So Nick Capiotis, our general counsel, has been staffing that committee and has been hard at work with them. So let's turn to Nick for an update on what the cyber committee's been up to. Nick?
Thanks, Pat, and welcome everyone. It's my privilege to provide you a quick update on the work of NAPEO's Cyber Committee. As a quick reminder, NAPEO's Cyber Committee started off as a working group in the summer of 2021, and it was quickly formed into a major standing committee by the board of directors by the end of that year because they recognized that this work was going to be some of the most important that NAPEO is going to do going forward. There are some professionals that believe by 2025 that cybersecurity is going to be a $10.5 trillion a year issue for the world. So the work that the Cyber Committee is doing to prepare you is, again, some of the most important work we're doing here at NAPEO. One of the first things that the Cyber Committee did was ask NAPEO to create a dedicated cyber portal on napeo.org. You can find those resources at napeo.org/cyber. The topics are broken down in the area: best practices, webinars, reports and articles and presentations, key resources, and find a cyber service partner. The main crux of what the working group has done recently is put together the best practices. There are 4 best practices: key items for PEOs to manage cybersecurity, cyber insurance underwriting considerations, business continuity best practices, and disaster recovery best practices. Under key items for PEOs to manage cybersecurity, you're going to find the initial document that you're going to need to prepare your organization before disaster strikes. This is going to give you tips on how to get key individual buy-in on your best practice policies and procedures for cybersecurity. It's going to help you role play scenarios that could arise in cyber threat situations. And it's going to provide you with information that you're going to need to get your vendors in place before disaster strikes. The next document is the cyber insurance underwriting considerations. This document mainly is comprised of questions that you can expect from your cybersecurity carrier to ask during the underwriting process. Next is the business continuity best practices. This best practice will help you continue moving forward when disaster does strike. Finally is the disaster recovery best practice. This is the document that's going to help you pick up the pieces when disaster does strike in an unforeseen way. Next up on the portal is the webinar section. This section is where we put together all of the webinars that NAPEO has done that are related to cybersecurity. For example, just last year, we did a webinar series over 2 to 3 weeks that was specifically on cybersecurity. We've put all of those webinars under this section. Those topics include Cybersecurity 101, legal issues, crisis communications, and payroll issues. Next up is the reports, articles, and presentations section. This area is where we house such things as the PEO Insider articles related to cybersecurity. We also have our Cyber Best Practices report that was done in 2018, and things such as articles and reports from our associate members that they use on their own websites for their clients. Next up is the key resources section. This section is where we put some of the larger resources that don't cleanly fit in some of the other sections. Things such as the cyber threats feed by our partners at mulberry.io. Finally, we have the Find a Service Partner section that'll help you find a service partner for all your cyber needs. Thank you for taking your time to learn a little bit more about NAPEO's Cyber Committee. Stay tuned to learn more about their work in the future.
Thanks, Nick, for that update, and thanks for your good work with the Cyber Committee. Again, they continue to do great things, and please check out the website. So 2023 will be no different than 2022. We will be chock-a-block with events that you've come to know and attend. So we'll kick off the year March 20th through 21st with our CEO Forum in Palo Alto, California. This will be probably our 11th or 12th year that we've done it. And it's just great. Every year, every attendee will say that it's the best event they attend. We'll hear from 3 Stanford Business School professors, and you will walk away much smarter, I promise. Our risk management workshop is April 18th and 19th in Charlotte, North Carolina. The PEO Capital Summit, everybody's second favorite meeting after our annual conference, will be May 22nd through 25th. Here in Arlington, Virginia at the Ritz-Carlton. Our CFO and payroll seminar is July 19th and 20th in Orlando. The annual conference and marketplace is October 9th and 11th. In addition, we'll do 12 in-person Leadership Council forums, a bunch of more virtual Leadership Council forums, and we'll be doing quarterly webinars on a bunch of the following topics: sales and marketing, risk management, cybersecurity, legal, HR, government affairs, finance, accounting, and payroll. Our webinars continue to be well attended, and we hear from you all how much you like them and enjoy them. We stay ahead of the curve in giving you the most recent information on the developing issues here in the PEO industry. So 2023 will be busy. I hope you'll join us for these conferences and for the online webinars and all of the educational offerings that we will supply during the year, and we'll see you there. Okay, so that'll do it for this edition of NAPEO News Studio. Stay tuned for our next episode soon to come. See you then.